you believe that he started taking testosterone in the 90s, and when you say that altered his behavior, you're saying it made him get more massages, or that was just one part of what changed about him?
Well, he became more aggressive.
Nice.
And I think that he may be, well, now I'm just imagining that the testosterone altered his desires or something. Does that...
And so when, given what you said the past couple hours about his kind of progression or change, let's focus on that time period. So more towards the late 90s,
yeah, okay.
96, 97, 98, when you said that he changed. Did you know flat out that he was having sex or otherwise some sort of sexual conduct with masseuses regularly?
Flat out, no. I denied that. I couldn't imagine that he would. But I think, looking back now, that I did not. But I started to suspect that he was not faithful. It seems ludicrous, but that's what I thought.
But look, if he's flying from Palm Beach to St. Thomas, or if he's flying all over the country to New Mexico or to New York, or even in Palm Beach, and there's young women, putting aside whether they're under the age of 18 or in their 20s, every day at the house, multiple masseuses, multiple massages on some days. You're interacting with the masseuses constantly, or maybe that's not right. Let me take back what I just said. Ignore that part. But you understand that he's getting massages every day, sometimes multiple times a day. By the late 90s, it's all women. Presumably, they're some of them are new, but they're also repeat masseuses. What did you? I mean, you had to know at that point that there was something going on beyond just he really needed to get massaged.
Very fair question. There's two things. The first is the person that he saw the most at that period of time was in her 40s, and she was with him all the time. And I'm like, married as well.
Yeah.
And I'm square, and it never occurred. Well, I don't believe it occurred to me at the time that with this woman he would be having relations, and he was with her. That was the person he had the most massages, yoga, and that with at that time in that 90s period. The second thing is that he told me he had difficulty having an erection, and I believed him.
When you said he said that, you mean he regularly told you that? Like he?
When I first, because when I didn't have sex with him after the first time, and it turns out I asked him, was it me? And he told me it was him. And I'd never, up until this moment in my life, I'm not stupid, I'm very bright. I've had an excellent education. I've traveled all over the world. I had boyfriends. But I had never met or understood that somebody could be so, would lie to me about. It never occurred to me. I didn't have a frame of context within my life experience where somebody would be so manipulative and devious with me. And plus I just didn't have, and I was happy not to have sex because I have a condition that doesn't lend itself to that.
Does, when you learned, so fast forward just for a moment to the 2007-9 time period, and he's arrested and charged, and there's all kinds of press around his purported content. At that point, did you accept that that was true? Meaning, did it make sense at that point when you were reading about women who claimed that they had been abused, even underage. And at that point, did you think to yourself, well, geez, that makes sense now that I think about it, or no?
First of all, I only read what was in the newspapers. I didn't have any other thing, and I'm embarrassed to say it. I didn't believe it.
Okay. Right. I mean, you didn't believe that the accusations were true at the time. Okay. So let's...
And sorry, I need to say, even if they were true, I believe that he was duped and he didn't know that they were, whatever was in the papers at that time, whether they said that they were 17 or it didn't register. Because along with all of those, well, not in 2006, but later when the more salacious and other allegations came out, I knew were utterly false, which then just reinforced my belief that the rest was not true.
Let me ask you a question about the age of the masseuses over the years. I think in my mind, there's a difference between you knowing or not knowing that a masseuse is under the age of 18 and coming to give a massage, and you knowing that Mr. Epstein, sexually abused the underage person or made her strip or something like that. Meaning, and I want to understand whether you believe that nobody that came to give massages, none of the women were under 18, or that you didn't focus on their age, but you were more focused on whether any underage woman was abused by him.
I think it's better to answer this question with corroborating evidence and then go back and explain so that I frame your understanding of what I'm saying. My understanding is that in 2008, they had interviewed 44 women, let's say, or around that number. Well, you have to understand, not a single one of those 44 women mentioned me in a single report. And it's not because, go back, they didn't mention me in the report because they never met me, they never saw me, and they never interacted with me. So to go back to your question, it's not that I thought one way or another, it's that I didn't see them.
Okay. I see. Okay.
Does that?
Yeah. That's helpful. So.
But when I say not one single one of those reports talks about me. And I just want to clarify exactly, because I'm obviously aware that one of those girls was one of the witnesses in my trial, specifically. To use her own testimony so that you don't have to hear my point of view, it's better if it comes from her own words, and that way there's no second guessing what I'm saying. Herself said that recruited her, brought her, and trained her. Those are own words. Where was I going with this?
That you didn't know. I mean, I assume.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yes, it's okay.
I really do have some slow cognition issues.
So she testifies that it was that recruited her and trained her and not you.
So then in her first FBI meeting, she reports seeing a woman with short dark hair at the house, which then is used as evidence that that person was myself. But the maid lady who helped keep the house, John's Alessi's wife, with an accent, I believe she said. John Alessi's wife had short dark hair and an accent. I'm sorry, but I find, and you can ask yourselves this, I mean, I've obviously modified my accent. I've been in America a long time, but I'm British. I've been brought up with a very strong British accent. And I don't believe there's American on planet Earth that doesn't recognise this to be British or Australian, maybe, if you really don't know. But it's not some random accent. Now, the Hispanic, maybe, okay. That was John's wife that she saw, not me. And I'd like to point out further how you potentially through her own words, she identified.
Well,
okay.
Stop there. No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so just, and look, I wanna try to, I think probably tomorrow, I wanna talk more about kind of the evidence against you and how to address that, so.
Okay, sorry.
No, don't apologize. That's helpful, but I don't want you to be burdened. I want you to just tell the truth the best you can, so I don't want you to be burdened by what people said at trial or what you know the press says about you.
I just thought it was illustrative when you asked me the question, because it doesn't, I did not. I absolutely have no memory at any, now, I'm leaving separate to this, obviously, so that's a separate story. I'm not going to pretend, well,
we'll get to,
yes,
go ahead.
But in the terms of the scheme or whatever, however you want to determine what you're calling that, I have no memory, no active anything of having seen anybody that resembles a child, let's call it, at that house giving him a massage at all. It's not even like I did this. It's an at all. And 40 people didn't see me or talk about me either, including.
Did and when you say that house.
Oh, sorry, Palm Beach.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean, but does the same memory or lack thereof apply to on planes in New Mexico and New York and
with some other important caveats. Well, on that, Bajorlin Jane was clearly underage, clearly a child, and I only saw her in Palm Beach, and I only saw her with her mother. The other person was clearly also not an adult or even close, I believe. I remember her now. But, that would be the only two, or three, whatever that is.